Hello everyone. My name is Daniel and in this video I want to show you how I beat, I think it's pronounced deity in Civilization 5. So here you see my settings. I set up a game as the Civilization Poland. A lot of people say it's pretty OP civilization, but still to beat deity you have to play a bit lame and use some tricks. You see I choose a large map, Earth, and the game pays Marathon, and in my opinion that's a pretty hard setup because I think most people who beat deity um, they use a small map, islands, one or two enemies, and then maybe it's doable. But I tell you, with my settings it's really hard because you have a lot of enemies. They will try to steal you every world wonder. They will attack you if you even dare to settle a bit close to them. And just in general, it is insanely hard to beat this the artificial intelligence. Okay, so of course I have a strategy. My strategy was finding a nice starting location, and for this I loaded the game like 20 million times because I wanted a really good starting location, and what you see here, that's really a great starting location. So if you don't know what's so great about this starting location, then you have just to look at the luxuries surrounding this location. So basically there are 3 tiles of salt, and you have to know that salt is pretty much the best starting resource because every salt gives 2 food, 1 production and 1 gold. You can at the same time grow very fast and produce with a high pace. So I expect that a lot of people might say, oh my god, he's loading until he finds a nice starting location, that's cheating. Then I have to say, I don't think loading and trying to get benefits by loading is really cheating, because I think you still stay in, in the boundaries which the game gives you. You can save and load, but still you don't get plus 10,000 gold, so that would be cheating. But that's exactly what the computer on this level of difficulty is doing. The computer starts with 2 cities. The computer has additional units. They just have a huge starting advantage. And usually, in my opinion, the hardest part of the game is surviving like the first 50 to 100 turns. And like I said, even if you save and load all the time, the computer will still crush you. So for me, usually to get a deity game going, I have to start over like 100 times until I find a game which finally might be suitable for really for a real attempt, at least at trying to beat the AI. So, and what you might have noticed, and what some people also might consider as cheating, is that at least at the beginning, if I find an ancient ruin, I will load until the ancient ruin will give me something good. So my first 2 ruins, I think I got culture, and I also got +1 population, so I was okay with that. But for instance, if I got gold, I just reloaded. What you also saw is that I already discovered the first city-state, Monaco, which is pretty nice because it's a culture city-state and I really like the culture city-states. And I also met my first AI enemy, and I call him enemy because it's Alexander the Great. And I had a lot of games where, I don't know, the civilizations in this game have different traits, and I think Alexander is very aggressive. He usually attacks me just without a reason, just because I'm a small wimp and he wants to stomp me and show his dominance. So that's why I call him an enemy. On the one hand, it's annoying to have him that close. On the other hand, I have at least someone to trade with, so I'm not completely isolated, which is also kinda okay. And basically now in this first phase of the game, I'm just scouting. So as you've seen here, my scout, which is the first thing I built, just finished. And yeah, I'm just searching for ancient ruins. So as my next working project, I selected a monument because I like the extra culture, and at the moment I can't build anything else anyways. So as you see here, I get my first trade for culture, and in comparison to a lot of people, I prefer liberty over tradition because I really like to have a second settler early in the game. And also I really like the extra tool you get in the liberty tree, as well as the benefits for culture if you expand. And with the liberty tree, basically my plan is to expand really fast. So right at this moment you might have noticed I just found pottery within one of the ancient ruins, and this was not a random find, but I had to load a lot of times in order to get this research. And I really needed it because, like I said, my strategy is to rush the library, the World Wonder, and the research pottery is mandatory for it. But since I started with mining, I somehow had to get it on another way. So this is part of my strategy. It really might come over a bit as cheating, but like I said, to beat the AI you really have to do some tricks. Now what you just saw here now is that I also found religion in one of the ancient ruins, and this is basically, in my opinion, the most important thing you can find in ruins, because with this early religion I was able to take the God King Pantheon, and it gives you production, religion, everything. And especially in the early game, I think it's extremely important to have. So basically I was really happy to get it at this point. And now I think I was really good to go. So there was not a lot more which could happen to me, at least in the very early game. Besides the danger that an enemy might steal me the Great Library, which would be very unfortunate. So, even though I had like a perfect start, I was still concerned because I had a couple of games where I started out and thought everything went perfect, and they still beat me in the race for the Great Library. So usually the AI gets a couple of world wonders before you even build your first one, and you just have to be lucky that it's not the Great Library. So what you also just saw is that I finished the research of mining. So now I am capable of building salt quarries very soon, which will also help me greatly when creating the Great Library and winning the race for the Great Library. So now you see I get my next culture trait, and I could decide between an additional worker, which would be great at this point because I already have the mining research, or I could decide to go for one production. And since I'm very close to the writing research, which allows me to build the library, I went for the +1 production, so that I could very swiftly create the great library. But at the moment, since I just finished my monument, I started building a corn silo. I'm not sure what it's called, corn fuselage, whatever. And now you see I made a bit of a daredevil move. Usually I wouldn't do that, but this guy, the Greek guy, really annoyed me. So I just wanted to kill his scout. So I didn't do it completely arbitrary. I thought he's my closest enemy, so he will 100% try to invade me very soon. And at this level of difficulty, the enemies arrive with huge armies. So I think, so my thought process was, if I now destroy his scouts and just delay him a little bit, my chances of surviving his first invasion might be a bit higher. So, and like I said, at the moment I didn't find any other enemies, so it's pretty I think it's pretty obvious that this guy will be the first one who will be a problem for me. So in the meantime, as you maybe just saw, I just cleared a barbarian camp. I mean, it's great, you get some experience, but you can only get 2 level ups. After that you have to kill real enemies, like the Greek guy. And of course you get gold, and if the barbarian camp you're clearing is also a quest, then you get a great reward. Your standing with a city-state greatly increases, and they will reward you greatly. For instance, the 2 city-states which are close to me, they are cultural city-states, so if I clear barbarian camps for them, they will give me additional culture, and especially at the start of the game, this is a huge advantage, because even if it's just a couple points of culture, I mean, if I have like 5 culture and they give me like 3 additional culture, that's great. So now what you saw here is that I just met the English guy. I'm really happy, to be honest, to meet him, because, or her, because now I have an additional trading partner. But what you just saw is it was a bit strange. His her scout just passed my archer, and that's really ridiculous, because to do that you have to have a really advanced research. So that's, I mean, there you see how many benefits those AIs have. Or maybe it was just a bug, I don't know. But yeah. So that was pretty nice of the English lady. She just offered me 1 gold for basically nothing, so that I'm her friend. But I mean, I won't complain. I take what I get. So at this point of the game, I was already very happy, because I found a lot of ancient ruins, and the stuff I got out of the ancient ruins was actually really great. I got religion, I got pottery, I got some culture upgrades, so I really couldn't be happier. Now, usually I don't want to go away too far from my capital, because if I go too far away and I send out my builders to create the first tile upgrades, then there's always the danger of barbarians stealing your builders. So what you see me here doing with my archer, usually I really don't like doing it so much. But anyways, I was in the mood to go and scout a bit, so I just went for it. I also had the next culture upgrade, and I didn't go for the second colonist. Instead I went for the worker, and the idea behind it was that I really wanted to boost the production and to accelerate the production of the Great Library. Now, maybe you're wondering about the stuttering of the video at some points, since the faces of the enemies have some loading time. I decided to just cut it out, the waiting times. So since nothing interesting happens currently in the waiting time, like I said, I just cut everything out. What you see me here doing now, or what you just saw me doing now at two different fronts, was that I was clearing barbarian camps. Really great. Every barbarian camp gives me 75 gold, and especially the top one is interesting because it's a quest. So if I clear this camp, the city-state will be very grateful. Now, what you saw me in contrary on the bottom side doing was a very evil thing, because I did a trick. Many people don't know this trick, but you can declare war on a city-state, and then if you see a worker, you can just snag the worker and declare peace again. And of course the city-state will hate you and you won't get the city-state's benefits, but since the city-state is so far away, I think the city-state won't give me any benefits anyways, so I don't care basically. And the negative attitude of the city-state will it will recover after a couple of turns, and so I just get a free worker. And this was actually a funny coincidence, because when I wanted to accompany my worker back to the base, I was blocked by another worker from Jerusalem, so I got my third worker, so to say. So at this point I just wanted to bring both workers back to capital safely, and I just since nothing interesting was happening, I just skipped some turns. So what you just saw was that I just met a new civilization. Really great, because now I have already 3 trading partners. I'm not too isolated, so this is really great. So now just to comment a bit more about my strategy. As you see, I just finished the calendar, and now I was wondering for what research I should go. And in my opinion, it's pretty on hand now how to adapt the strategy, because I have a really great spot for the Petra, and the Petra creates, or it converts, desert fields into basically normal fields. But if you have desert hills, you really get great tiles. And the best part is if you have luxuries or strategic resources on desert hills, and that's just insanely good. So if you have the luck to have it like that, then you have a great Petra spot, and actually I have a great Petra spot. So sometimes when I start games, I get a really good starting position, but I don't find a good spot for a second city. But in this case, it's just awesome. I just have an awesome capital, I will have an awesome Petra city, and everything works on plan. Now, to comment more about the game again, which is ongoing, you see there was another scout of the Greek guy. Actually pretty awesome, because I could clear it with my archer, so my archer could get some additional experience. You see the archer already has 2 levels, so he couldn't level up anymore with barbarians, so now I get additional experience. I skipped a bit in time, and you see the 3 workers arrived, and they finished the salt quarries, and they started out with the cotton fields. And I don't know if I already commented about it, but I also finished the top barbarian camp. So now, as you can see, Monaco is giving me additional culture. Very helpful also. Um, since not a lot is happening at the moment, I skipped a few turns, and basically now I'm just keep scouting a bit and searching for barbarian camps. What you just saw was, by the way, that it was really scary at this point if I really could finish the Great Library, because as you just might have seen on the right side of the screen, one of the AIs already finished, I think, the Temple of Artemis, and also Stonehenge had been finished a couple of turns before. I skipped it, but it was really scary. So, but in the end I was lucky, and no one took away the Great Library, and now this is actually the thing I really like about Poland. As you can see now with the Great Library, I can take the philosophy research, and because of this I enter a new era, and the trade of Poland is if I enter a new era I get a free culture trade. So in combination to getting a new research for the Great Library, I also got a new culture trade, so I benefited double. So now with the new culture trade I got a colonist, and as you can see here I had to decide where to send my colonist, and I was thinking about maybe sending it to the bottom right. There were some nice fields, or to the left and build a Petra city. Anyways, that has been the first part of this video series. If you want to see the rest of the video and how I beat civilization on deity, then check out my channel for updates. The second part should be up very soon. Hope to see you soon again.